Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world of Wayne. Long time coming, this one. We've got now issue 31 of the Hero Collector release of Build the Ghostbusters Ecto-1. You know what, I've had to take the enormous car off the shelf here. I've put it over on my other workstation over here. I just cannot believe how big it is. It is ginormous. And that is what we're going to be wrestling with today, as we're going to get the lights in and we're going to start doing the interior headlining of the car. It does mean I've had to separate the frame of the body from the chassis of the body as well. Now we are going to be doing stages, where are we? Let's have a look. We're going to be doing stages 115, 16, 17 and 18 in this stage. I believe in the next pack we're going to be working on some of the gurneys as well. Now if you want to get this for yourself, I'll put the link in the video description. You can get this all the way from pack 1. But without further ado, let's get cracking. So as you can see, this is stage 115 and it's going to start with lights. We're going to be removing two sets of lights. We're going to be removing lights L from the chassis, and I think down here we're going to be removing lights E as well. We're going to be attaching these to the lights there, building the windscreen wipers, putting that on the vehicle, and then we're going to be putting the lights on the vehicle as well, which does mean I've got to bring this over to this section, figure out how we're going to video that, but that's all there is to do in that stage. So this is what all of those parts look like. I'll get them open and we'll get cracking on this. Now I've already taken out the lights L from the chassis of the vehicle. Now they look just like that. As you can see, L, they're quite long here. And then what we're going to need is these reflectors here. Now all of these reflectors are the same, so it doesn't matter which one I pick. So I'm going to pick this one here. What we're going to do is we're going to take the bulbs. Let me just space this out a little bit better. There you go, that's better. And I'm going to push the bulb through the hole just at the back there. So as you can see, it's coming out the other side. Now if we just give a little bend to that, for a couple of reasons. A, it's going to stop that just falling out. But also it means that the actual main light is going to be shining forward, because it's in an LED, most light comes out through the side, not the top. So it's the side bit that we're actually going to want coming out of that. So once we've got that, and it looks like that on the side, we're going to be putting a lens over the top. They are different sizes, so you need to rotate it round the right way, because one's thicker than the other. Put that on, and then push that into place. So there we go. That's the first light in place there. We're going to do the same for the other side. So again, through here, bend it up, because obviously that's going to be fitting flat onto the roof section there. Take a lens, make sure it's orientated round the right way. So there you go, that's both of those lenses in. We're going to do exactly the same thing for the rear lenses, which is cable E, which I've got here. As you can see, cable E, exactly the same way. So through, bend up, grab a lens and push that in. That one clipped in then. And the last one just on this side here. And there you go. That's those two in as well. We're then going to be building the windscreen wipers, which consist of two parts here. And the first part is just going to go into the channel just at the top, like that. And it's going to be held in with a RP screw, which is a very tiny screw. So I'll get this one in. Again, these really tiny screws, my PHO screwdriver doesn't ever really have a problem with them. But that's the first one in. Do exactly the same on the second one here. And there's the second one. Now these are going to fit into these tiny bases here, and they are labelled L and R. So obviously the L side is going to be the driver's side. So it sits on like that. Do the same on the other side. And that's the other side in as well. So now I've got to bring over the massive frame. And that looks like this here. God, it's ginormous. So the first lights we're going to be putting on are the front deck lights. These were the ones that were labelled L. So I'm just going to untangle these. And these are going to go into the points just at the front here, like this. probably see that. God, I'm just going to have to figure out how I'm filming this. One in there. And we're also going to have one just on the other side there. Now, they're going to be held in from the underside with AP screws. And to do that, I'm going to put the lens in, open the door, and then I'm just going to put it on its side to screw that in from the underside. Because I am conscious we have got details on top here, which I really don't want to break. So let's put this kind of on its side. Had to have a move around with the camera so we can see what I'm doing. There we go, and that's the first one in there. Now that's in place, we really don't want to be putting this thing upside down now, because there is a chance that we could damage these points on top and the stalks will break off. We don't want that. That'll be a very bad day. So I'll put the second one in, and I'm screwing that from the underside without turning the thing upside down. There we go, so they're nice and tight. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some masking tape just at the top to keep them secure in place and to make sure this wire is quite tidy just on top there. I think I'll put that like this. There we go, and that's kept that into place. And then we're going to be doing the same thing just on the backlights. Now these were the ones that are labelled E, and they're just going to go in facing the other direction over here. So I'll get these in as well. So as you can see, that's the back one in as well. Once again, I'm going to put some masking tape just to keep that into place here. All that's left to do then is put the windscreen wipers on. They look like that. These just go into the channels here. So we've got one this side, just like that. And one the other side pointing in the opposite direction. And they're going to be secured in from the underside with AP screws. So as you can see, they're all in, and that's all there is to do in that stage. Now in stage 116, we don't need the vehicle anymore because we're going to be starting to do the headlining here, which is the cockpit ceiling and the visor. I'm going to put them in. Quick stage this one, so it looks like this right at the end. Now I am a little bit nervous about all of this because obviously we've put those very delicate lights into the top in the last stage. And I don't really want to put it upside down anymore. So when we actually end up having to install this, I'm guessing we're going to have to do it on its side rather than all the way over. Otherwise you are going to break those lights big time. So first thing we want to do is we want to take one of these visors here. And we need to put a bracket into it. Now they are labelled R. And they've got a little R on there as well. So these are just going to be going on top just like that there. Now we have got this post to put through, goes through the hole on this side, and we want to make sure that goes all the way out the other side like that. But we do need to hold that in, so we're going to be putting RP screws into here. And if you remember the last stage, they're the same sort of screws we had in the last stage, except this time the RP screws the RP screws are black rather than silver. So each one takes 3 of these. 1, 2 and 3. We have got a cap to put on. This actually goes on the side. So if I put this in kind of like this, just to give you an idea of how this cap's going on. It's a little bit fiddly, but it should look like that. I'm going to make the other sun visor and then we're going to put them together on the headliner. So it's exactly the same way. This goes on here like that. We're going to have this post going all the way through. Whoops, probably best to put that on first actually. There we go. RP screws to hold that together. And 3. I want to put the side of this cap again. There is a hole just into the side of that on the end. Just like that. And then we're going to assemble this onto the headliner. So we've got a little hole just in this, which is going to match that little cap that we put in. So I'm going to put one side in there, like that. We've got a bracket in the middle that looks like this. That's going to go over the middle sections, which I will put that in afterwards. Lie that down. It's probably best actually to secure one end in first of this over this side here. I think the simplest way to do this is to actually put this part in without actually attaching it to the sun visor first. Now it has got a little notch at the bottom, which is going to match the keyhole pattern that we've got there. So I'm going to put this in, and it's held on the other side with a GP screw. Okay, you might want to take heed of the way I'm going to be putting these in. I'm going to put a little bit of glue just onto the bag there. And I'm going to put some glue just around the rim here on this section like that. Now the tab that we're going to be putting on the sun visor, I'm going to be putting into here, and I'm holding it in with glue just like that, and I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side. This will help you, trust me. Trying to screw these in is a nightmare. Making sure that it's orientated exactly where you need it, because you want that hole to be the right way round. For the sun visors there. And as you can see, they are now both in. You want to let that dry and then put the GP screws in. Now the GP screws go into the other side here, and they'll keep that now located in the correct position. Makes that far easier. Far easier than the fiddling around I was doing. To the other side. So now they're both screwed in from that side. So, should have made things easier for us now, because we can put one side in here, like that. The other side in here. And when that's in, you can tighten that centre stalk up, and that will hold that completely in place, just like that. That was a lot more engineered than it needed to be, I have to say, but they do hang down. They're not actually, they're not very stiff in there, if that makes sense. But that's all there is to do in that stage. So in stage 117, we're going to be doing the CB radio. It looks like we're going to be putting that onto the headlining we've just been working on. So this is the radio here, and we're going to be mounting that. We've got to make our own coil here, and then putting that into the top of the car, which means we're bringing over the main body of the vehicle again. And the first thing we want to do is we want to take the central metal, this is metal, section here, that's just going to go into the centre here, over the two holes that we can see here and here. They're going to be held in with RP screws. This time the RP screws are silver, as you can see there. 1, 2, going to take 4 of these. 3. Put this one back in. Excellent. And the last one, number 4. We can put that to one side because we're just going to be putting the CB together now. This is what that's looking like there. And we have got the top to put on. This is just going to be going, matching the holes there. Oops. Other way. So it fits perfectly flat in there like that. Now it holds itself in with just the tabs. You ain't got to screw that, but we do have to put the little knobs in, and they are on this sprue here. So with sprue cutters, I'm going to take these off, making sure that I've cut off the stalks as well, so I can put these in. I'll get all of these off first. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now one of these is thicker than all the rest of them, so the thicker one is going into the larger hole just down the bottom. And they are just pushing like that. Then all the rest of them in the other 3 holes. And 3 does look like we have a spare one there, but that's the CB radio completed. We're just going to be assembling the microphone here. And as you can see, we've got this cable. What we need to do with that, this is actually a wire. So to make that effect of a coiled wire, and I do think they've gave us far too much wire here, is just get your screwdriver, hold it in place, and then just wrap it round like this. There you go. It's up to you how much you do. I don't think I'm going to use this whole amount. Try and keep it even though, because then your rings will be even as well. There you go. I don't think I need too much more. I'm going to cut that there. I think that's too long otherwise. And then one end is going to go into the microphone here. So you'll have one end in here and it's going to close off on the other side. Don't just put the end in. I'd put quite a generous amount of wire in there because you don't want that coming out. Close it off with the other side. Could even glue it in, I suppose. Like that. And as you see, that's not falling out now. And then the other end of that wire is just going to go into the center hole there. Again, just push in as much as you can get. You don't want that falling out. Turn it around and put the microphone just in the tab next to it. So now that sits in just like that. That's the CB completed. Now we're going to need to mount this into the car. So this is going to be going this way round with the speaker facing down and the buttons facing away from the sun visor. So it's going to go in like that. It's going to be secured in from either side here with a KP screw. Again, these are silver screws. So line up the holes and get these in. That's the first side there. One. And the other side. That's two. And now that is the mounted CB radio into the headliner there. So, fun bit now. We're going to be installing this into the car. So I'm just tidying things up so I can get that over here. So I've managed to tilt this over to where it goes. And this is just going to be going in here. Whoops. Like this. And there we go. That's just slotted in perfectly there. We're going to hold it in with EM screws. So, one down the bottom there. It's 4 of these. And it's basically in the 4 corners. You do have some screws just underneath the visors there. So I'll get all 4 of these in. But they're all in. And that is all there is to do in that stage. So in the last stage here, we're going to be doing the interior ceiling lights. We're going to create the lights up here, put this in some headliner here, and then we're going to mount this to the vehicle as well. So here's all the parts of what that looks like. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to be taking these lenses here and we're going to be putting these into the lights here. So just push them in. That's one. Same on this one. And that's 2. So those lights are in now. We're going to be pushing this into the tops of these sections here. So they go in this way. 1. And 2. And then we're going to have to bring over the main car again. Because we're going to be taking these lights that were in the frame here. And we're going to be putting that into the headliner. So, if I bring that over here. They're basically going to go in the top and then they'll be bent down so that the wire here can fit in that channel. And I think I'm just going to put some insulating tape just over that section there. This is just a best practice thing for me. Help with any light bleed, I suppose, as well. So, there we go. That's one side. And just do the same on the other. And then this section is just going to go next to the section we put in. You want these wires coming out the bottom here. Going to be fitting over the points here. And once again, they're held in with EM screws. So I'll put all 4 of these. They go in the corners in, so you can see what that looks like. And there you go, that's installed, and that's all there is to do in that stage. I'm out of breath. The challenge of this build is not the detailed parts, it's more to do with how heavy this is and how big it is, and trying to maneuver it in a position where you can actually put these details in, and obviously not break any of the details that we've already put on, which I've successfully done today, although those sun visors were a little bit fiddly. I think that was probably the hardest thing on this build. But there you go. That's all there is to do for another month. So once again, if you want to get this for yourself, put the link down here into the video description. You can get this all the way from pack 1. But I really do hope you liked that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.